everyone, and welcome to Wicked Art. This is Wicked here, and it is Free Draw Friday. So we are going to have some fun today and just draw a random picture. All you'll need is an eraser. You can either have a mechanical pencil or a regular pencil. It does not matter. You don't even need the big eraser if you got your own, okay? So today we are going to be drawing a little image of Cyclops here. So just like what we've been doing with the other Free Draw Fridays, we want to start off a little light and sketch light. So let's just do kind of like a bust image. So we're just going to go ahead and draw ourselves a circle. So let's just sketch ourselves a circle out here. Now I'm going to press down a little bit harder so that you guys can see it better, but yourself, make sure you do it nice and light so we can make any adjustments that we need. Okay. So the next thing I need to do is determine where the edge of my, or the center of my face is. So I'm going to start not dead center. We're going to kind of round down off the edge of the head. So we're going to kind of come down this way. And I'm also going to go past my circle. So I'm going to go straight here. Alright. So now that I have that shape, I can start building up my jawline. Okay, so since my head is kind of turned this way, I can see the jawline a little bit more over here. So I'm just going to come off the edge of the circle right here, right? And I'm going to go ahead and start rounding that towards my center line here. So I can go ahead and touch my line here, just so I know that's the center. Okay, I'm going to start straightening it back out this way. Okay, so we have our center line, we have our jaw, and now I need to kind of set up the side of my head. So our circle might be a little bit too big, yours may not be, but I'm going to go ahead and cut into it some and just turn it right here. Okay, so this is about where my eye socket would be. Now we don't have to have it perfect because Cyclops wears his goggles. So I'm going to kind of bounce back out just a little bit here to kind of represent the cheekbone. So I'm going to kind of turn this way, and then I'm going to come down a little bit, and we'll see a tiny bit of the jaw, and then I'm going to cut down towards the chin that way. Okay, so it doesn't look like much right now, but it's just a good baseline for what we have. Since my jaw is here, my neck's going to come back off the back side of the skull, so I'm going to kind of curve out this way. Okay, and then I'm going to come back here to the front underneath my chin, and I'm going to kind of curve in where his Adam's apple would be, that little bulge at the bottom of your throat, and then I'm going to turn out this way to set up my neck. Okay, so now I need to set up my eye line. So his goggles are going to come across this way, so I'm going to stretch it straight across, and now I don't need this line anymore, so I can erase that out. Now what's going to help is if we just go ahead and mark a little line for about where the nose is going to be. So about this distance from the eye line. And then we're going to mark a spot for our mouth. Okay. Now remember, we're doing all this lightly, so if we need to make any adjustments, we can. But I'm going to start right here where this eye line is. I'm going to come underneath it, and I'm going to make a straight line. And then I'm going to curve the visor down. Okay, then I'm going to come across with it and just turn it out this way. Okay, now in order to get it to where we can use this edge here, we can just connect it right there at the end and kind of extend his visor out. So I can actually use that and just stop it right up here at the forehead. And then I want to kind of take this point here and do a slight curve. Okay, that curve is going to start to straighten out and carry over. And I'm going to stop there so that I can try to keep it even. I'm going to come down on this side. Remember, you can pause the video anytime if you need to catch up. Okay, and I'm going to carry it over. So it's kind of straight, but as we get here, we're going to start turning it back this way. Okay, then I'm going to come underneath my line right here, and we're going to sketch ourselves a little round, almost like a round circle, but we're not going to connect it all the way back at the front. So I'm going to turn it almost like I'm drawing a giant ear. Okay, I'm going to take this spot where I stopped and I'm going to arch it up towards the top here. Okay, then I'm going to curve up this way. So we're going to take that up, and then I'm going to turn it towards the front part of our visor here. Okay, so now I can take my eraser and get rid of everything on the inside in here. Clear it out. So now it looks like he's got some cyberpunk sunglasses on. Okay, now I want to take from this point here and just kind of slightly start me a line here. So I'm just moving up a little bit, and we are going to run it to the side, back this way. Then I'm going to run it to the other side and kind of curve it up just slightly. Okay, so I have a small visor piece. Now, we don't need to make this big, huge, like snow goggles or anything. So we're just going to kind of do a slight turn right here, and then I'm going to carry it straight across to the other side. Now, you're trying to keep this distance even. You don't want to start working your way up. So if you need to, adjust yourself back down towards that level and work your way back to where you left off, and just round it out. Okay, so we make sure our edges are rounded. Now I can come back to this point here and really define that out by putting the button that he presses on the side. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to make this other arching shape. Okay, once I do that, I'm going to erase this piece out. I'm going to turn it down just so it sticks out just a little bit, not a lot. So you know what, let's bring that in even more. I'm going to adjust it to where it comes down some more. Then erase that out. Okay, so I can define this and erase any line work I have on the inside. Okay, now we need to start detailing up the face a little bit. First thing I want to do is, we're drawing the version of Cyclops where he's got the complete head cover, so I can go ahead and bring this around this way. I can use this edge here. We're going to kind of go up a little bit from right here, so we're going to extend his head out, and I'm going to start turning it that way. Okay, so I can go ahead now and I can clean up the top part of his head. Any loose lines that I have anywhere, I can clean that up. Okay, so that takes care of that. So now I can come down here and start working on the nose and things like that. So I'm going to have a line that comes out from the nose like that. And I'm going to kind of wrap around the nostril right here. Then I'm going to curve ever so slightly right here. So if you need to, we can kind of erase out this area so we can see a little bit better. Okay, I'm going to round this right here and then curve it back like that. Then I'm going to get that other nostril right there. Okay, so now that I have my nose, I can start getting the edge line of his face here, so I can use this area to kind of build up. Cyclops has kind of a strong jawline, so I'm going to kind of build up that jaw a little bit. And then I'm going to put a slight curve on his jaw and really straighten out that chin. Alright. The next thing I want to do is, the way Cyclops' uniform goes, he has it to where it runs down the line of his face, so I want to kind of create an outline. So I can use this edge piece here, right? I can come up this way along the side of his face and then continue it slightly down towards the chin. And then I can clean up that whole area with all my loose line sketches. Okay, so I'm going to come down here and get the mouth. Now the mouth shouldn't be that far, so I can kind of look at it and judge that I should probably start right here. So I'm going to put like a little dot. Now we're not going to do anything crazy. We're just going to do a simple mouth line for him. Give him kind of a stoic look. I'm going to come down here for the bottom lip. Clean up that area. Okay, so now I'm going to take his chin and continue over. I'm going to kind of square it off a little bit right here and draw a very slight line, and then I'm going to continue this way, and we're going to go up towards the cheek, and then I'm going to define that cheekbone a little bit, just like that. Alright, then I can clean up that bottom ridge there, and then I want to kind of do the same thing I had over here. I want to kind of bring that jaw out a little bit, so I'm going to curve in like this and then continue to run that up to the visor. Okay, so now I can clean up around there. Right, so that takes care of his face. We can refine this neck area here. Okay, I'm going to come back over this part as well. Okay, so now we're going to start building up that little chest area. So I'm going to sketch kind of an arch like this, and then I'm going to go straight out to do kind of like the other side, like where the collarbone is. And I'm going to come in here and I'm going to sketch me a circle. So we'll go ahead and sketch a circle right here. And then on the inside of it, we want it to have some thickness. So I'm going to give it an inside edge. So we're going to start here, almost like we're drawing a crescent moon in reverse, and bring it down. Okay. Then I want to do my X, okay, because he's the leader of the X-Men. So we're going to do an X going across by just doing two simple lines that way, and then do two of the same kind of line, and we can draw through if we want to, because we're just going to make it black anyway. Alright, so we have that X shape. Now I want to come to this outside edge, and I want to build up another circular shape. So I'm going to curve it around, stop right here. Okay, so we're going to stop in this area. I want to come here and make this arching shape that goes all the way back to his neck. So we can run that down. It's going to go past just a little bit and then go down at an angle. Come back to the bottom again. I'm going to make that same shape. Connect that there. Okay, so now we can break it up into pieces. So I can come down this area right here. So just follow your circle down. Go ahead and turn out and arch back. And then we're going to stop like right here and then curve it. Okay. Then I can come underneath it and I can run two lines like this just to kind of have that separation, and then just curve this here. Okay. Then I can come back here to the back end. We can turn that part up to show that separation that runs down his back. Okay, and then I can come in and refine this. It doesn't have to be so loose anymore. So we can darken the lines, round it out, and just go over it. Essentially just tracing back over your work with harder lines. Okay, so you should have something that looks like this. Take your eraser, clean up around that area, get all those loose sketchy lines out of there. Okay, so now let's come over here to this front side. Let's run off the edge here and turn it around. See how I'm staying close here? And then I'm going to come this way and stop about right here. And then I'm going to make this rectangular shape, but I'm going to curve it though. So we want to curve it down a little bit. Okay, then I want to give that a slight edge and curve. Sorry about that. So we're coming down here and curving. Then we're going to curve again. Alright, and then I'm going to do one more piece. Comes off right here. I'm going to move over. Do one more over here. Let's not make it quite as long. Then let's arch this way and come up. Then we're going to go across and curve, drop this side down. Okay, I want to come up to this area here, and I'm going to arch out and arch down and come across. It's almost like a rounded rectangle. And I'm just going to draw me an extra line here just to give it an edge, and then connect his chest there. Okay. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to color in this X. Doesn't have to be perfectly black, but just get it nice and dark. Come across this way. And once you have that filled in, you have yourself a nice fun little Cyclops here. Okay, so you can go around and refine your line work. We can go ahead and add some shadow to it if we want. So let's come in here, let's add some shadows in here. Let's go ahead and color that in dark. I'm not going to do anything too fancy. I'm just going to put some base shadows in here. Okay, come to the front part right here. And take that back and curve, and then we can use this edge, fill that in. Okay, we can come in here. Let's use some of our hatching practice here. So let's come in here and hatch us some lines. It doesn't matter what angle, you can pick and choose. I'm going to go across that way. Okay, I'm going to do the whole inside very lightly around the X, just so we can get that color distinguished, because it's usually red in there. Okay, I'm going to do another edge here, so I'm just going to lightly draw a curved shape. Come up to the top, and I'm going to hatch that in as well. Just to give us an edge here. Okay, and come down here and we can hatch in this edge here, and then this little bottom portion here. I can get this front edge. Notice how I'm not going all the way up, I'm just hatching it in. And I want to get this whole back area here, and then go along this bottom line. Again, pause the video if you need to. And I'm going to keep going across and stopping there. And let's do one more edge here. Let's just add that in, and then hatch that across. Okay, now what I want to do is get this whole area here. We're going to hatch that. Okay, this whole bottom area. But I want to kind of cut this one in half. Okay, so I'm going to lightly sketch me a line out and curve it back. And then I'm going to hatch that. Okay, I'm going to hatch this whole back area too. I'm going to come up here let's draw a dark line here for that connection. Then we can hatch that in. Okay. Then I'm going to lightly sketch this and go back. And we can hatch that whole region in too. Okay, so just little light hatchy lines, don't have to be nothing crazy. It's going all the way back. Okay, I want to darken this edge here, so I want it to really show that separation. So just kind of go back over those areas so it stands out. Alright, so I can come here to the jaw, color that in black. I'm going to do some hatching in there for the blue. Okay, so I can get this underside of the chin here. Right, I can carry that down like that. Come up under the chin, stay close and come down. Color that in. Remember, it doesn't have to be black. It can be like a dark gray. You just want to make it darker than the rest of it. Okay. So now I can move up underneath and add a little bit here and just have a connection point. Just kind of thicken that up. Alright. Same thing back here. Just want to kind of go over it a little bit. So let's move up to this area. We want to have like a little bit of a reflection. So let's just lightly hatch in the goggles to a point. So we're going to come towards the center. Once I get to the center, I want to kind of stop like right here, skip over and start hatching again. That way it leaves that little glare in there. Okay. Next thing I can do is come down here at the bottom. I can lightly sketch around the edge here and go ahead and hatch that in. Just like that. Come back here again. I can kind of rise up like a triangle a little bit. And go ahead and hatch that. Okay. We can kind of give this kind of like a loose shadow here. So let's hatch in this little long triangle here. And then let's go ahead and run through this one. Like that. Okay, and do this back side of the head. Just darken that up. Alright. Then his visor kind of comes off his head, so let's do this. Let's darken this line up first. Just kind of go back over it. And let's sketch this slight arch comes across here, and then just hatch that in. And that way it'll give us a little bit of depth to it. So again, they're just hatching lines. We're not doing anything crazy. If you wanted to smooth it in, you could, but we're just going to hatch for now. Okay. Let's darken up this line here, make it a little bit thicker. Let's bring this piece out, darken that up, and should be good. Let's see, what else could we do? Let's come in here. Let's darken this area up. Again, just to give us some shape up here. So I'm just going to color that in. Nice and dark. Again, doesn't have to be black. Try not to leave any white spots on there, just so it doesn't stand out. Keep shading that in. I know it's a bigger area, but remember, this is real time, so some spots are going to take longer than others. So now that we have that, let's do this. Let's bring this out this way and connect it here, and just finish that out. So now that we have that, we can do one last thing that I like to do. And I like to go around the edges and do that kind of like a manga edge. So I want to kind of go around and thicken and darken the edge up. And it's not something you have to do, it's something you can do, but what it allows for is it darken that circle too. But it allows it just to kind of pop off the page a little bit more. Okay. So I'm just going around. If you notice, yeah, it makes the edge look thicker. So we're just going to darken it up, go around the whole image. Okay. So see how it makes him stand out a little bit more. Go down the edge of his face, thicken that up. Just like that. Thicken that up, come to the outside. Do the same thing there. Come down towards the bottom. Now once I get to like right here, I'm going to stop. I'm not going to do that over here because it's just where my cutoff is. So I'm going to go ahead and continue on this edge over here. Let's go ahead and go around. And that takes care of that. So if you wanted to, you could darken up some of these areas. Just go back over. You don't have to. It's just if it's a little too much on the light side. Okay. You can go back over some of your line work that's still light and darken that up, but for the most part, you should have yourself a cool looking Cyclops. I'm going to go ahead and darken up his visor though, just so that it stands out just a little bit more. Okay, so you should have yourself a cool looking Cyclops here. I hope you had fun. I hope you learned something, and until the next free draw Friday, keep doing the homework and practicing, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.